At 32, Clara Morgan was known as the Christmas heart of her family. Every December she transformed her cozy three-bedroom home into a wonderland of lights, laughter and gifts. "You always go overboard," her father used to say with a chuckle, though his eyes sparkled with admiration. For 7 straight years, Clara spent weeks planning, decorating and cooking, pouring her entire savings and soul into making Christmas perfect. She wasn't rich, just an accountant who loved seeing her family's faces light up as they opened the presents she had carefully chosen. "This is what Christmas should feel like," she'd whisper to herself each year, feeling closer to the memory of her late mother, who had once made the holidays magical. But last December everything changed. An accidental glimpse at a family group chat would shatter every illusion she had about love, gratitude and family. Clara's childhood had been a collage of blended families and shifting loyalties. Her parents divorced when she was 8. Her father remarried a woman named Linda, who brought with her 2 younger children, Ethan and Grace. Her mother eventually married Mark and they had 1 son, Ben. "The more the merrier," her mom used to joke when the family gathered, though after the divorce, merry was rare. When her mother passed away from breast cancer, Christmas lost its soul. The first year after her death, Clara's father tried to host a dinner. Linda preferred minimal decorations and a quiet evening. "Too much fuss ruins the spirit," she'd said flatly, turning off the old Christmas playlist Clara had chosen. That night, Clara sat by the window, staring at the empty space where her mother's bright red tree had once stood, vowing that one day she'd bring the magic back. By the time Clara turned 25, she had a steady job at an accounting firm and a house of her own. "I'm hosting Christmas this year," she announced proudly on the family group chat. "I want to make it special again." Her father replied with a thumbs-up emoji. Ben wrote, "Can't wait." And Grace sent, "Finally someone who actually likes decorating." That encouragement was all she needed. She saved for months, planned every detail, and filled her home with the scent of cinnamon and fresh pine. When her family arrived, their eyes widened in awe. "Wow, Clara, this is amazing," Ben said, admiring the 9-foot tree covered in blue and silver ornaments. Even Linda seemed impressed, though she remarked, "You must have spent a fortune." Clara laughed it off. "It's worth it," she said softly. "It feels like Mom's here again." That first Christmas was everything Clara had dreamed of. She served roast turkey, homemade cranberry sauce, and pies that took her hours to bake. The table glowed under warm fairy lights, and laughter filled every corner of the room. Her father hugged her after dinner, whispering, "This feels like having a piece of your mother back." That moment alone made the exhaustion disappear. When her siblings opened their presents, a designer wallet for her father, a coffee maker for Ben and art supplies for Grace, they all seemed genuinely touched. Finn, still a teenager, then grinned. "Best Christmas ever," he said, waving his new game controller. As everyone hugged goodbye that night, Clara's heart was full. "Next year," she promised, "I'll make it even better." She didn't realize she was starting a tradition that would one day break her heart. Each following Christmas grew bigger and brighter. By the 7th year, Clara was spending nearly $5,000 on gifts, decorations, food, and even renting nearby cabins for relatives visiting from other cities. She worked overtime during tax season to save up, skipping vacations and wearing the same old coats winter after winter. Her best friend Jessica warned her, "Clara, this is too much. Do they even help out?" But Clara only smiled. "They don't have to. It makes me happy." What she didn't know was that her family had stopped seeing her generosity as love. It had become an expectation. Behind those smiling faces and polite thank yous, resentment was quietly growing. And soon, a single text message on someone's phone would expose the truth. She was not their cherished hostess. She was their joke. By the 4th year, Clara's guest list had doubled. Cousins brought partners. Partners brought children. Aunts asked if their neighbors could stop by for a plate. "Of course," Clara said with her gentle smile, even as she recalculated the grocery list. She built spreadsheets for gifts, ingredients, seating and timelines. At a cafe in October, Jessica watched her type. "Clara," she said softly, "this looks like you're planning a wedding every year." Clara laughed. "It's just organization." Jessica lowered her voice. "Do they help? Do they bring money? Do they even stay to clean?" Clara hesitated. "They say thank you." Jessica leaned in. Saying thank you isn't the same as showing up. Clara closed the laptop. Jess, it makes me happy. That night at home she opened her budgeting app and sighed. New line items. Rental house, high-end roast, vegan options for Grace, gluten-free pie for Linda, and a nicer toy budget because Ethan said his friends' families do bigger stuff. She whispered into the quiet kitchen, "It's okay. It's for family." Then she set 2 alarms, one for a pre-dawn butcher pickup, another for the bakery order window, and texted her father, "Can't wait for Christmas." He replied, "Proud of you, kiddo." The words warmed her while the calculations on her screen grew cold. The 5th year revealed tiny cracks. After dinner, Clara carried a stack of plates to the sink. "Hey Ben, can you help?" she asked. Ben lifted his new headphones. "I'm terrible at loading dishwashers," he said with a guilty shrug, retreating toward the TV. Maya, his wife, smiled politely. "We'll grab dessert." They did and then sat. Grace tugged at Clara's sleeve. "Next year could you get the Pro Studio markers? The set with dual tips. And the light box. And the soft pastels. I sent links." Clara's smile pinched. "We'll see, Gracie." Ethan, scrolling his phone, said, "Ryan's family does Secret Santa. They do one big gift like a gaming chair. Way more efficient." Linda lifted her glass. "Christmas is about family, not waste," she said, admiring the embroidered napkins. "Still, this centerpiece is a lot." Clara breathed in through her nose. "It's all for togetherness," she said and returned to the sink alone. Later Jessica texted, "How'd it go?" Clara typed and erased 3 times before sending. "Lovely. Everyone loved the food." She placed a sticky note on the fridge, larger dishwasher tablets, and stood in the hallway staring at the tree. The lights were perfect. The feeling less so. By the 6th year tradition felt heavy. Clara rented 2 nearby cabins so out-of-towners could stay close. "You didn't have to do that," her father said, squeezing her shoulder. Linda added, "But it is convenient." The day was beautiful. Music, jokes, a roast that carved like butter. After dinner Ethan checked his watch. "I promised I'd hit a party," he said, already slipping on his jacket. "You can open the rest of my gifts without me." He left to a chorus of good natures and door chimes. Clara forced a smile, carried coffee to the living room, and then hid in the kitchen to wipe her eyes. Her father found her. "Kids are kids," he said, awkward and kind. "This is wonderful, Clara." She nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. Later she stood at the curb waving as cars pulled away, the cold biting her wrists where the coat didn't meet her gloves. Inside she picked stray ribbon from the rug and stacked plates in neat towers. The quiet came down like snow. She texted Jessica, "Next year I'll go bigger. Maybe custom cookies for the kids." Jessica replied, "Or maybe smaller. Or shared." Clara locked the door, glanced back at the glowing tree and whispered, "Bigger." The 7th year arrived like a deadline. In mid-November, Grace stopped by to print slides for a college presentation. "You are a lifesaver," she said, tapping on her laptop at the dining table while her phone buzzed beside a mug. "Bathroom." "Down the hall," Clara answered, stirring a pot of test batch cranberry sauce. A new buzz. The preview flashed. "Ben, do we have to go to Clara's again?" Clara's stomach tightened. She didn't mean to, but her hand moved. The phone was unlocked. A group title stared up at her. Family minus Clara. Her eyes scanned. "Ben, it's her Christmas show again." "Maya, please no more surprise gifts that aren't on my list." "Linda, every year it's the same menu dressed up as gourmet." "Ethan, next year let's say ski trip and actually go." "Grace, I'm bored by the schedule, same photo by the tree, same games." "Dad, let's just keep the peace. She gets emotional if we leave early." Clara's breath went shallow. Words blurred, then sharpened like ice. Holiday director. Controlling. Expensive for no reason. Final ping. Ben. Smiles on 5 hours, then freedom. The bathroom door clicked. Clara set the phone down exactly as it had been and adjusted a candle that didn't need adjusting. "All good?" Grace asked, breezing back in. "All good," Clara said, voice even and far away. When the door closed behind Grace, the house felt unfamiliar, like a stage after the audience has gone. Clara sank onto the couch and opened an old photo album. The 1st year, her father's damp eyes, Grace hugging art supplies to her chest, Ethan grinning with a controller. She touched the glossy page. Was any of it real? She whispered. In the kitchen, the test cranberry sauce popped softly. She turned off the stove, washed the spoon, lined it up with military precision, and stared at her reflection in the dark window. Her phone buzzed. Jessica, hot cocoa night? You okay? Claire typed, can you come over? Minutes later, Jessica stepped into the entryway, read Clara's face, and shut the door gently. Tell me. Clara told her everything. The chat title, the comments, the jokes about her show. Jessica's jaw tightened. I'm so sorry, she said. You've been giving from empty, and they've been clapping for a performance they don't respect. Clara nodded, tears finally spilling over. I thought I was honoring Mom, she said. Maybe I was just buying my place. Jessica took her hands. You don't have to earn love with receipts. The words landed like a bell. In the silence that followed, something inside Clara shifted from hurt to clear resolve. She wiped her cheeks, straightened her shoulders, and said, Then I'm done performing. Clara didn't go to work the next morning. She called in sick, sat at her kitchen table with a cup of coffee gone cold, and stared at her laptop screen. What do I even do now? She whispered. Her heart still pounded from the discovery. Every message in that chat played over in her mind, each more painful than the last. When Jessica arrived later that afternoon, Clara handed her the phone wordlessly. Jessica scrolled, her face tightening with each line. They called you a parasite? She said, voice rising. After all you've done? Clara nodded, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. I thought I was holding everyone together, she said. Turns out they were just tolerating me. Jessica reached across the table, gripping her hand. No, Clara. They were using you. There's a difference. Clara swallowed hard. Then maybe it's time I stop letting them. Jessica tilted her head. What are you thinking? Clara's eyes flicked to the pile of Christmas receipts spread across the table. I think I'm done being Santa Claus. That night, Clara made a list, not of groceries or gifts but of cancellations. She listed every order, every service, every reservation tied to Christmas. This is insane, she muttered, staring at the total cost. Almost $5,000, all of it from her savings. She picked up her phone and dialed the first number, the rental cabin company. I'd like to cancel my reservation, she said. The woman on the line apologized for the non-refundable fee, but Clara didn't care. Keep the 100, she said firmly. Consider it my freedom tax. One by one she canceled everything. Food deliveries, catering help, custom decorations, even the personalized stockings she'd ordered weeks ago. Afterward she sat back in her chair, breathing heavily. The house was quiet except for the soft hum of the refrigerator. It's really happening, she whispered. Christmas without me. She half expected guilt to rise, but instead she felt something new, relief. For the first time in years, December didn't feel like a job. The next morning, Clara woke with a sense of lightness she hadn't felt in years. The air felt different, clean. She poured herself coffee and scrolled through vacation packages online. Sunlight streamed through her window as she typed warm Christmas destinations. Her eyes caught on a Hawaii package. 10 days, ocean view, breakfast included. Maybe that's my kind of Christmas, she said softly. Jessica called right then. You sound better, she said. I'm free, Clara replied with a small laugh. I booked Hawaii. Jessica gasped. You did not. I did, Clara said, smiling. And you know what? It's cheaper than hosting my family. They both laughed until Clara's eyes watered again, but this time from joy. After they hung up, she printed her flight confirmation and pinned it to the fridge. Then she took down the wreath on her front door, packed away the ornaments, and folded the tablecloth she'd planned to use. This year, she whispered, the only person I'm saving Christmas for is me. Now came the hardest part, telling the family. Clara sat with her phone for an hour, scrolling through her contacts, unable to decide how to start. Calling them all would be emotional chaos. A group message felt cowardly. Then she remembered the chat. Family minus Clara. Her lips twisted into a determined smile. Two can play that game, she murmured. Over the next day she collected every receipt, every photo, every expense report she had saved from the past 7 years. She even made a spreadsheet showing how much she had spent on each person. The total $27,340 stared up at her like a mirror. She highlighted the figure in yellow. That night she wrote her message carefully. It wasn't angry, it was honest. Then early Sunday morning she texted Grace, "Hey, can you add me to that family chat? I want to share some Christmas photos." Pause. Then Grace replied, "Which one?" Clara smiled coldly. "The one called Family minus Clara." 5 minutes later, Grace added her. The chat exploded instantly. Then, "Why did you add her here?" "Linda, Grace, what is going on?" Clara waited a full minute before sending her message. She uploaded the PDF of her receipts, 7 years of proof, and typed, "Good morning, everyone. I hope you don't mind me joining your private chat. I thought you might find this interesting. These are my expenses for every Christmas I've hosted since 2016, $27,340 total. That's roughly $3,900 per year. I worked extra hours, skipped vacations, and gave up personal needs to create what I thought were meaningful family memories. Imagine my surprise reading that I'm a holiday parasite, and that you're all tired of my Christmas show. This year the show is cancelled. The rental house is refunded, the gifts are returned, the food orders are cancelled. I'll be in Hawaii, finally giving myself a Christmas of peace." Then she added a single final line, "Merry Christmas, everyone." For 5 minutes the chat was silent. Then the notifications came fast and furious. Then, "Whoa, this is way out of proportion. Everyone vents sometimes. Maya, you put so much pressure on us to act grateful, Clara. We were just being honest." Linda, "This dramatic reaction proves my point. Now you've ruined Christmas for everyone." Dad, "Honey, I'm sorry. Please call me, we can fix this." Grace, "I'm so sorry, Clara. I didn't mean for you to see that chat." Ethan, "I had no idea you spent that much. That's crazy. I'm sorry for being ungrateful." Clara read every line carefully, her heart steady now. None of them truly understood, not yet. They were more concerned with damage control than with what she'd endured. She muted the chat, turned her phone face down, and sat back. The kitchen clock ticked. "I'm not their Santa anymore," she whispered. "And they'll just have to find their own magic." Over the next 2 days the calls began. Her father left 3 voicemails, his voice heavy. "Sweetheart, please. Let's talk before you go. We can make this right." Grace sent long paragraphs of guilt-filled apologies. Then messaged, "Look, we were joking. You know how family is." Clara didn't reply. She filled her suitcase with light summer clothes and sunscreen, humming quietly to herself. When Jessica stopped by, she found Clara in the middle of folding swimsuits. "You're really doing it," Jessica said, smiling. "Yes," Clara said firmly. "For once, I'm putting myself first." Jessica grinned. "About time." They toasted with mugs of cocoa, laughing at how un-Christmas-like it all felt. That night, Clara turned off her phone completely and sat by the window watching snow fall softly outside. For the first time in years, she didn't feel anxious about a menu or decorations. She felt free. December 23rd arrived cold and bright. Clara's neighbor Mrs. Lawson waved as she loaded her suitcase into the taxi. "Off somewhere warm, dear?" "Hawaii," Clara said with a grin. "Merry Christmas." The airport was bustling, filled with families rushing home for the holidays. Clara walked through the crowd alone but unburdened. On the plane, she looked out the window as the snow-covered ground shrank beneath her. "Goodbye, guilt," she murmured. When she landed in Honolulu, the warm air wrapped around her like a hug. Her hotel room overlooked turquoise water and swaying palms. That evening she sat on her balcony, sipping pineapple juice and watching the sunset melt into the horizon. Her phone stayed off. The silence wasn't lonely, it was peaceful. For the first time, Clara didn't feel like she was missing Christmas. She felt like she'd finally found it. On Christmas Eve morning, Clara wandered along the beach barefoot, the sand warm under her feet. Families played nearby, laughter mixing with waves. A woman her age waved from a picnic blanket. "Hey, you alone too?" she called. Clara smiled and nodded. "Join us. We're the Holiday Orphans Club," the woman said, introducing herself as Laura. There was Miguel, a cheerful engineer from Texas, Danielle, a nurse from Minnesota, and Peter, a widower from Florida. They had all come alone for different reasons. "Some of us needed distance from family drama," Laura said with a wink. Clara laughed. "You have no idea. They spent the day sharing stories, building a sandman instead of a snowman, and eating tropical fruit. When Clara told them she'd hosted 7 huge family Christmases by herself, Miguel whistled. That's dedication. The 7? Girl, that's a full-time job. For the first time in years, Clara laughed without forcing it. Yeah, she said, and I finally quit. Christmas morning arrived with sunlight spilling through the curtains. Clara joined her new friends for a beach breakfast. Croissants, fruit and cheap coffee. They exchanged small gifts, all under $5. Clara gave Danielle a shell necklace she'd bought from a local stand. It's beautiful, Danielle said, slipping it on. You didn't have to. Clara smiled. I wanted to. The simplicity of it all filled her chest with warmth. No pressure. No performance. Just people sharing kindness because they wanted to. Later, as the group watched the waves roll in, Clara finally turned her phone on. Dozens of unread messages filled the screen. Apologies, confusion, even a few heartfelt admissions. She skimmed one from her father. I failed to see how much you gave. I'm sorry. Another from Ethan. We'll do better next year. You were right. She typed one reply to all of them. Thank you. Okay. I'll see you after the holidays. Things will be different. Then she placed the phone face down in the sand, closed her eyes, and let the sound of the ocean drown out the ghosts of every Christmas past. When Clara returned home in January, the snow had settled thick over her street, soft and quiet. Unlocking her front door felt different now. The once meticulously decorated living room stood plain and peaceful. She placed her suitcase by the couch and smiled faintly. Home, she whispered. On the table sat a small stack of envelopes, cards from her family. She opened one from Grace first. I'm so sorry, Clara. You didn't deserve the way we treated you. Then one from Ethan. I'll host next year. You shouldn't have to carry it alone. Clara felt her chest tighten, not with anger this time but something closer to closure. She placed the cards neatly in a drawer, brewed herself a cup of tea and sat by the window watching snowflakes drift past the glass. For the first time in years she didn't feel obligated to fix anything. The world could wait. 2 days later there was a knock on her door. When she opened it, Grace stood there, eyes red, holding a letter. Can I come in? She asked softly. Clara nodded. Grace sat on the couch, wringing her hands. I messed up, she said. I laughed when they joked about you. I didn't mean to be cruel, I just wanted to fit in. Clara studied her sister for a long moment, then said gently, You're still young, Grace. But this, she gestured between them, isn't how family should work. Grace nodded, tears falling freely. I know. I want to make it right. Clara sighed and pulled her into a hug. Then start by being honest. And by never joining any chat that leaves someone out. They both laughed through their tears, the first real laugh they'd shared in months. The next evening her father showed up unannounced with a casserole dish and a guilty smile. I brought dinner, he said. And maybe an apology. They sat at the kitchen table, the same spot where Clara had once planned elaborate menus, and ate in silence for a while. It was awful without you, he finally said. Nobody knew what to do. Ben and Maya argued over desserts. Ethan left early. Even Linda looked lost. Clara arched an eyebrow. You mean you all realized how much I did? Her father nodded slowly. And how little we appreciated it. He reached for her hand. You deserved help. You deserved gratitude. I should have made sure you got both. Clara smiled faintly. Thank you, Dad. But next time no more hero worship. If we celebrate together. Fair and simple. He chuckled. Deal. The following weekend Ben called. His tone was awkward but sincere. Clara, I didn't mean that parasite comment literally, he said. I was venting. Stupidly. Clara listened quietly. Ben, she said after a pause, the problem isn't one word, it's the years of silence. Not once did anyone ask if I needed help. You all just showed up. Ben sighed. You're right. We took you for granted. I forgive you, Clara said gently, but things have to change. Everyone contributes next time. Money, effort, time. No exceptions. Ben chuckled nervously. That's fair. Honestly, it's overdue. As they hung up, Clara felt lighter. Forgiveness, she realized, didn't mean erasing the pain. It meant refusing to carry it anymore. A week later, Jessica invited her for dinner. The two friends sat in a cozy bistro, clinking glasses over pasta and laughter. So, Jessica asked, smirking, Any regrets about skipping the family circus? Clara shook her head. None. I think Hawaii healed something I didn't know was broken. Jessica grinned. You look peaceful. Like someone who finally knows her worth. Clara smiled. I used to think giving was love, she said thoughtfully. But love isn't about how much you give. It's about who still stands beside you when you stop. Jessica raised her glass again. To boundaries and beach vacations. Clara laughed. To boundaries and better Christmases. As December approached the following year, Clara received a message from her father. Simple dinner at my house. Everyone's pitching in. Clara hesitated, then typed back, I'll bring dessert. On Christmas Day she walked into her father's living room expecting tension. Instead she found calm. Grace and Ethan were setting the table together. Ben was carving turkey. Even Linda was humming along to Christmas music. We made everything ourselves, her father said proudly. No one person running the show this year. Clara smiled. That's how it should be. When they sat down to eat there was no fancy silverware or designer decor. Just warmth, laughter and shared effort. And for the first time it felt real. After dinner they gathered in the living room for a simple exchange. Each person brought one small gift. Clara opened a framed photo of her mother holding a baby Clara in front of their old Christmas tree. Beneath it a note read, for the woman who brought back Mom's magic, then learned to keep her own. Her eyes welled up. Who made this? She asked. Ethan raised his hand shyly. We all chipped in, he said. We wanted you to know we see you now. Clara smiled through tears, hugging him. You have no idea how much this means. As the night wound down, Grace and Ben began cleaning up without being asked. Linda washed dishes while Clara dried them. This feels different, Linda said quietly. Better, Clara agreed. Because this time it's not one person giving everything. Her father raised a glass from across the room. To Clara, he said. For teaching us the true meaning of giving. Clara blushed. No, she said softly. To all of us, for finally learning how to share it. The family laughed and clinked glasses together. The tension that had once filled every Christmas was gone, replaced by something honest and peaceful. Later that night, Clara stepped outside into the crisp air. Snowflakes drifted onto her coat as she looked up at the stars. The world was silent except for faint laughter from inside. She closed her eyes, breathing in the moment. There was no guilt, no exhaustion, no weight pressing down on her. She had spent years trying to buy love with grand gestures, thinking generosity would fill the gaps of appreciation. Now she knew better. Love didn't need to be earned. It needed to be respected. She smiled to herself and whispered, Merry Christmas, Mom. I finally got it right. When Clara drove home that night, the roads glistened with snow and the radio hummed a soft carol. In her back seat lay leftovers, small gifts and something far more precious. Peace of mind. As she pulled into her driveway she caught her reflection in the car window. No longer the exhausted hostess trying to prove her worth, but a woman who had learned that boundaries are a form of love too. She walked inside, set down the food and lit a single candle in memory of her mother. The light flickered gently against the quiet walls. Clara smiled and whispered, Finally, a Christmas that didn't cost me myself. Moral lesson. True generosity isn't measured by how much you give. It's measured by whether giving leaves you whole. When love demands endless sacrifice, it isn't love, it's obligation. Learning to set boundaries isn't selfish. It's the first step toward genuine connection and peace. Thanks you for watching and please remember to tell us where you are watching from today. Hit the like button, comment and subscribe to this channel for more of this.